This is Fred Beck from Fred Society, and today I'm very lucky joined by Chris Small. So how have you been, Chris? What have you been up to then, mate?
What have I been up to? Getting ready for Christmas, professionally, I suppose, in terms of doing Christmas commissions. So not so much of the boxing stuff and more like dogs and babies. But yeah, getting Christmas commissions out of the way, kind of trying to line stuff up, kind of fully booked through December now. So and hopefully I've got a huge canvas in front of me, 6 foot by 5 foot, that I'm going to get my teeth into shortly as well, for a commission as well. So that one is a boxing one. So
Would you say December's your biggest month?
I don't know because I don't know if you're aware, but I only really turned professional kind of 3 months ago. So in terms of my busiest month, every month's been pretty busy so far. But I would imagine, yeah, being now being a professional artist, which still sounds really strange, the Christmas time will be a lot of kind of commissions or kind of requests for maybe slightly different stuff than I'd usually do. Maybe I drew an okay dog once, and that seems to have sparked kind of canine sketches into the into the requests, which maybe I shouldn't have done that, and maybe I should have stuck to my boxing. But hopefully, yeah, I've got a few boxing things still on the go, and I think after Christmas it'll be back to more of the portrait style art, which is what I prefer. But
Do you think you find you draw more boxing photos or like other stuff like dogs or scenery or anything like that though?
well, again, so I started drawing. I only literally 2.5 years ago started kind of drawing for fun, and yeah, two years ago last week, I worked it out because I was at an event for Chris Smith, and he was the first. So Chris Smith, the boxer who used to be based in Bournemouth, still big Bournemouth fan, and comes down here and supports the football team and the rest of it. He had an event last week. But 2 years ago, last week, I drew him for the first time, and he was the first boxer that I drew. And yeah, so ever since then, I was doing it as a bit of a hobby. Thought, oh, I wonder if I can draw some other boxers, and I wonder if they think it looks all right. And they did, which was nice. So I ended up drawing for quite, I think over 10 world champions now, and kind of getting signed stuff back, which is pretty cool. And then I thought, and then more and more, not so much the boxers, but fans of boxing started getting in touch and saying, I saw so and so had your, sketch. I was wondering, could you do one for me of so and so? So I started trying to kind of juggle stuff around my day job, which was quite a big job as well, and was finding that I couldn't really keep on top of all of the requests around the day job. And then eventually it got to the point where maybe drawing could be the day job. So yeah, I'm not kidding myself that I think I'll probably end up with a kind of part-time job, 2 or 3 days a week, maybe next year alongside it. But at the moment, I've got enough to keep me busy, and have done since turning pro. So yeah. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question there, but the main focus was always boxing, and my passion, I suppose, is drawing kind of sporting boxing, and now actually the more I do, the more just portraits in general. But certainly boxing portraits is what I really like. But yeah, and yeah, it's just so happens I think Christmas time, there's more people coming out of the woodwork asking for slightly more unusual stuff. So
Yeah, sure. It's always good that you're staying busy. And you're a full-time artist now, is that correct?
yeah, for like I said, for the last 3 or 4 months, I used to be a director at the Students' Union at the University of Southampton. And they were great. They've been really supportive, and this was kind of happening alongside it, but I just couldn't manage the hours, and I wanted to give this a go, to be honest. I'm really lucky that my wife and daughter are really supportive, and they kind of, we talked about it, and yeah, I acknowledged first of all, look, I'm not going to just sit and draw for fun, if I need to go get a job, I'll go get a job alongside it. But yeah, this is the first time being self-employed as well, so navigating self-employment, navigating being a professional artist, and doing commissions and stuff. But yeah, full time at the moment.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really, really cool. It's obviously really good, like doing something that you enjoy doing, which is what everyone really wants to do at the end of the day.
That's it. We're doing the same thing, Fred, just at different ends of the spectrum. Yeah, you're starting out doing something that I say starting out, you've been doing it longer than I have. But but yeah, you're looking to get into a career as something you enjoy, and I, further down the line, realised maybe I could make something or part of a career out of something I enjoy as well. So we're on the same journey at different parts of our lives. What can we say?
Yeah, it's very true. Same journey, and it's all boxing related. So, were you kind of a big boxing fan? Were you kind of a big boxing fan before you kind of started doing the drawings?
Yeah. I think I back with like kind of Ricky Hatton days and stuff like that, and then more recently, kind of Carl Froch and those sorts of fighters. Lennox Lewis, obviously back in the day as well. Um, they were kind of I'd always be watching it, and then I don't know what happened because my family are really all into football massively, and I enjoy and watch a lot of football as well. But there seemed to be a bit of a transition at some point where I, I'd worry more about maybe missing a boxing card than I would about missing a football match. My my father-in-law used to say that what was it he said? He said Chris likes football, but he's a boxing fan. Is that but yeah, I've always watched boxing, and then when I started drawing, I'm really into films as well, like films and TV series and stuff. And so I started drawing kind of scenes from films. I like, the term Easter eggs, in films where I liked drawing stuff that maybe you wouldn't necessarily know what it was unless you knew the film, unless you kind of, were quite into the film. So I drew a few different things like that to start with. And then, I just thought, I wonder how I could combine this with something else I enjoy. And so, I ended up doing the boxing portraits and just got lucky with Chris Smith, and then really lucky with people after that. So
There's no luck, it's skill, it's hard work. It's no luck might come a part of it, but it's mostly hard work though, Chris.
I think it started with luck. now it's hard work.
No, it's hard work. Obviously a bit of luck does help now and again, but after you're working really hard, it just comes a bit. And tell me about bit about what's in your background here. I see you got the Ring magazine, you got Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo signed that.
Yeah, it's mad, really. So you got Roman Gonzalez at the top, which was crazy. He seems to be. I've had a bit of interaction with him, and he seems to be a really big kind of art fan and big supporter of boxing art as well. I think actually he started following me after I posted up a Bruce Lee picture. So I did a little sketch of Bruce Lee, an old one again. I think it was Bruce Lee's birthday a couple of years ago, or 18 months ago, something. And I posted up, another, an old sketch I'd done of Bruce Lee, and then up he popped on my Twitter, I think it was. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So within a week, I thought to myself, right, I've got to do a Roman Gonzalez because I know he's going to see it, hopefully. Well, I say that, he's probably following lots. But yeah, lo and behold, he did. And since then, I've done another sketch for him as well and sent that out to his home as well. And then, you've got Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez. So madness, really. Even now, it's nuts. And I've got the minute I've kind of taken over the front room in my house. We've got the front room. We're a bit back to front, so the front room would be like your dining room, and our back room would be the lounge. But my wife very kindly has let me take over the front room as a studio, I suppose. But we're not at the point yet. We want to redecorate it a little bit, and what I want to do is the wall opposite me is eventually put all of the kind of sign stuff up, because I've got like 1, 2, 3. There's stuff just all around the room basically now, and I just want to put it all up as a bit of an art display. But Canelo, mad, really, again, a contact that reached out, a really nice guy, who probably wants to remain nameless, but reached out and said that he was going to be seeing Canelo, and during the fight week for the Yildirim fight, he said if you can get it out to California, I think it was in a week, then we can see what we can do. So Canelo's got the original. I think his team have got a few signed copies, and I've got this one. everybody keeps asking, how many signed copies did you get? Just the one. It took about 6 months to come back by the postal service, but just the one Canelo. And then Oscar De La Hoya was great as well. Yeah, another kind of high level contact reached out, said he really liked my stuff. And actually, the good thing here, and I spent the lesson with this one, is I drew Oscar on a Saturday. I sat down and drew him, and it wasn't very good. And I personally, I think it wasn't very good. So I posted it up online anyway, and I said, look, I don't think I've lost this somewhere. I've lost the likeness. But a couple of people started following me off the back of it and commented on it. And one of them, well, two of them very close to Oscar, I think it was. And I said to the people, I don't have a huge following, but I've got a little following on Twitter. And I kind of said, look, I want to show that sometimes I get it wrong as well. It's not always plain sailing. Sometimes I don't really capture the likeness. But then on the Sunday, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go again. Like any good boxer, I went, right, I've just been defeated. I'm going to get straight back in the ring. I haven't learned any lessons. I'm going to jump straight back in and not take any time out, not reflect, immediate rematch. And jump straight back. And I drew him again on that Sunday. Different picture, different look. And unfortunately, this time, people seem to think that there's enough of a likeness, and obviously Oscar did. So he's got the original, I think, in his office, a Golden Boy. And and I've got this one on the wall.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, both Oscar and Canelo. Obviously, Oscar was Canelo's promoter for a while. Who ever thought of doing, I know it must take you a while to do these kind of drawings. Who ever thought of doing like setting up a little video and doing a time lapse yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I need to get some, and you're the guy in the know with this, but I need to get some decent, well, not so decent, but some recording equipment really just to do that. Previously, I've done time lapses where I've basically taken pictures at different stages to kind of show people the process. But yeah, I'm not a technophobe, but when I did try to do a time lapse with my iPhone, the size of the file was hideous at the end. So I need to find a slightly better way of doing that. But I'm thinking, especially with the painting that I've got to do in the next couple of weeks, I think painting lends itself pretty well to time lapse as well. And I think in the past, when I had put up the kind of photo time lapses, the people I talk to on Twitter and on the other social media, they've all been really receptive of it. They seem to like to see the process. So I think it's a good idea. It's something. So if you're looking for a Christmas present for me, Fred, then some sort of recording equipment, absolutely fine. Just, I'll leave my address at the end.
I'm sure. I'm in the GoPro. Even a GoPro has a good little time on the thing. I mean, I think if it's on the iPhone, I don't know if I've used time lapse on my phone here. If you go on, where is time lapse? If you go on, you can't do it. But on a GoPro, right, you can change how many photos that are per minute or something.
Per minute, yeah, exactly that.
Sign of that.
Well, the other thing.
Down speed up.
That's right. The other thing, the other reason I've not done it, well, partly not done it before, is I don't really like being on camera, to be honest. and to give you, not that it's a massive exclusive, but this is the first interview I've done on camera with anyone about my artwork. So that won't matter to anyone other than being obviously intimidating for me. But yeah, I didn't post any pictures of myself on social media, I think, to do with the boxing art. For years. It's only really as I started to turn pro that I thought, well, people probably want to see who is doing it. And so there's a couple of pictures of me with a painting or with something else. But yeah, I tend to go, the artwork is hopefully the thing that people should look at. And so, that's the other, I think, reason where I was like, oh, do I want a camera over my shoulder? People see my ugly mug as I try and make something a little bit better on a canvas. But yeah, I've realized that you have to with this. I think, you have to show people a bit more of the person behind the artwork as well. So
right now your art's doing really well, but when it really, really takes off in your big time Hollywood, we'll look back the first exclusive interview. One point I do want to touch on is Imposter Syndrome, and as an artist.
Yeah, definitely. So I mentioned that previously too, because it's not, it's a little bit of everything actually. I think I've lucky enough or unfortunate enough to be suffering from it in multiple ways. One, as I said, it's uncomfortable to talk about being a professional artist because, I like to draw. I now like to paint. I like to kind of try and capture likeness of people. And actually, it becoming a profession was almost just a kind of natural progression in the end, rather than I am a professional artist, standing there in front of people. So there's the imposter syndrome there, and then on the flip side, there's the boxing side, and I don't know. Again, you're probably much more knowledgeable than me. That I like boxing. I'm a boxing fan. I know a fair bit about boxing. Probably amongst my mates, I'm one of the ones who knows the most about boxing. But as you probably know, you enter into that Twitter world of boxing experts, whether they're in the profession or just sat at home like me. And yeah, I think, wow. I mean, the amount of times I'll post something up and someone will go like, oh, this is amazing sketch. I really like the way you've captured this. But can you name me the 5th fight that so-and-so lost in? And I'll be like, and it'll be someone who fought like in the 70s, whatever. So again, I'm an old man in comparison to you, Fred, but before I was born. And they'll be like, I'll give you a minute to kind of let me know whether you can, who do you think his hardest fight was? And I think, oh, wow. So, one hand is on Twitter, one hand's on Google half the time, trying to make sure that I stay up to beat. But yeah, that imposter syndrome it's just something, I don't think anyone expects it really of you. I don't think anyone's there going, oh, you need to be a font of all knowledge on boxing. But there's this sense of actually, I tend to try and draw people and draw boxers that I have seen and that I have an interest in. I don't want to just start too much of just, oh, he's quite popular at the minute, so I'll draw him without really having a bit of interest in that particular fighter, because it started as a hobby where I drew people I admired and I liked, watching. And I'd like to keep an element of that as well, if possible.
Yeah. Have you ever drawn Eddie Hearn?
Well, I've never approached him in any way, and I haven't drawn Eddie. But I have had I've done in the past kind of head-to-head style sketches, whether it's a half face of one fighter and a half face of the other. And I've had in my head for a while Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn doing a kind of matchroom sketch. And yeah, I haven't really spoken to anyone about it, and it's something I've never really found the time to do. But at some point, I think I'll do that. Whether Eddie sees it, whether Eddie would like it. But I'm a big DAZN fan, big matchroom fan. So it'd be good. It'd be good to do something.
What's your plan for 2022? What do you got coming up for that year? Because it's near the end of 2021.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think for me, because it is also new, and I want to stress that. I think, it can be with any artist but just because I might catch the likeness every now and then, I am still new to the game. So for me, I really want to develop my painting. I think that's something I've got a bit of a style that I liked when I did a recent kind of painting, but I think the more painting I do alongside the sketching, that would be great. And I've got a kind of color palette at the minute that I like with the painting, and I think it'd be nice to do a series of portraits in that kind of style. I think that's something that the first one I've done of that style was really well received, and I had lots of people asking for kind of versions of it if they could, and that's led to this monstrous one that I've got to do that's going over to Hong Kong in January, hopefully. But yeah, that for me, alongside doing the commission stuff, the big thing, whether it's 2022 or not, but the big thing I've always had in the back of my mind, even when I was amateur, was I'd love to get something in print. It'd be nice to get, whether it's a magazine or a book or something like that. I mean, a book cover would be amazing. There's some artists that I look up to that are much better than me and been around a long time, and when you see their stuff on magazines and books and stuff, you think that's the thing. So probably not 2022, but a future aim. It'd be amazing if, you know, someone turned around one day and said, "I'd do it for free," you know, which is probably, I probably shouldn't say, but if someone turned around one day and said, "I'd love to have your art on or in my book," I'd say, yeah, that'd be great.
What about, because I see you got the Ring magazine back there. What about if you did a Ring magazine front cover?
I don't think it works like that, Fred. I'm not sure. I have some good contact with some people who work for the Ring magazine, and it's a great magazine. I've subscribed. I get it monthly as well. But yeah, I'm not sure it's such a case as you just kind of ask and you can go on the front cover. And to be fair, they're I think he's their artistic director. Richard Sloan is like the godfather of, for me anyway, of boxing art. So I don't think they're short of people to provide artwork. But yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, something for the Ring, Boxing News, you know, or a fighter who's got a book or a book that's coming out or something like that. Would be absolutely amazing. Just to be a small part of something like that would be great.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get there. I'm sure you'll be there sooner than you expect. And then you'll be on you'll be doing front covers of magazines. But Chris, before I let you go, say some people want to buy your drawings or prints, where can people contact you in that way?
Best bet is I've got a website, so it's simply kind of Chris Small, so two S's in the middle, chrissmall.art. But if you want me on social media, then it's just Chris Small Art, all one word, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I tend to predominantly sell originals and commissions. I've got a limited number of prints where I've agreed with the fighter or with the fighter's representatives that they're happy with that. And people approach it in different ways, but the reason I have a little bit of talent, I'll go as far to say that, which means I can capture people's likeness. But I know when Fred contacts me asking for a picture of Canelo, it's because he's a big fan of Canelo and he likes the way I've captured it. So I'm hopefully respectful enough to kind of go, actually, if I'm going to sell prints of it going forward, then I really need a bit of permission from the fighters representative. So yeah,
I'll put your links in the description, your Instagram and Twitter, and like your website in the description. But Chris, I'm sure we'll catch up in the new year. Thanks so much for your time. It's great speaking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too.